Welcome to another edition of Minot Talk here at the Dakotan. I am Jonathan Starr, and I am joined by Daryl Lies today, so that's pretty exciting. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It's been a couple of years since we've sat down and done a podcast.
For sure. It was a couple of years, one late night, and at that point we didn't even do lives.
Right.
I was so grateful that you did come on. It was a good discussion back then. Looking forward to some good discussion today, too. Obviously, the big topic is that we have a state convention happening in Minot, and so that's exciting for Minot, but also there's a lot of dynamics that surround that, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
It's already had a lot of dynamics happen.
Is this the most controversial convention that you can remember?
So this is it's controversy in a different way.
Okay.
This is the first one where you've had a group of people pick up their ball and go home, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's different in that way. We've had some very controversial, heated,
right,
well attended because everyone decided they were going to go and fight it out there. You take the Rick Becker, John Hoven thing 4 years ago. That was a big one. You take 2016 governor's race.
Yes.
You had Stenjum, Burgum, Becker in that one.
Mm-hmm.
And what ensued from there was the establishment crowned Stenjum, and Burgum removed the crown come primary time.
Right. Yeah.
So, we've had them. It's a different kind of conflict going on now, or a different kind of rat race. I'll call it.
For sure. I'll ask you to keep going down the channels of history, and is that 2016 race where you had Burgum go to their primary and win? Is that one of the first times that you can remember that the primary was used to circumvent the convention?
So we had now Senator Kramer, when he ran for Congress 2012.
Okay.
He skipped the convention completely.
Okay.
He went right to the primary. He had a fairly large field of people that were pursuing it because you had Rick Berg that had won in 2010, moved up, was going to run for the Senate.
Okay.
So that opened the door. There was no incumbent.
Right.
And, Republican Party, all parties, but Republican Party is really big on the incumbent, even if they're a liberal.
Okay.
Protect the incumbent.
Yeah.
And that's but I think that's a party thing, even if you don't follow, except for, I will say, nationally, the Democrats probably stick together the best.
Yes.
I don't agree with them. I think they're crazy as all get out.
Yeah.
But they do stick together the best.
Right.
And they will oust those that are seemingly getting too close to the center line.
Yeah.
Like, they're gone. And so, but the Republicans are very, let's protect this, especially in North Dakota, protect the incumbent, because of the baloney big tent theory.
Right. Gotta love the big tent.
And I don't mind the big tent, but if you're coming to my tent, assimilate to our standards and our ideals.
Exactly.
No different than if you're coming to our country.
Right.
You're coming to our country, you assimilate to be American.
Yep.
Well, if you're coming to the Republican tent, you assimilate to the standards that the people have put together.
Right, for sure.
And we don't hold them to that. We never have, for as long as I can remember in the Republican Party, because you do have populist swings and factions.
And now that's going back to bite the Republican Party, I do believe. If they would have held to it, then they probably wouldn't be in the situation they are now. So all the way back in 2010 or 2012 that you mentioned.
Yep.
You have Kramer that goes straight to primary. And now that it's becoming a trend because you already mentioned 2016. In 2020, Hoven went and got the endorsement at the convention, but then Becker did that. He went to the primary as an independent.
Yep.
And then now this time, probably it's the first time ever that no incumbent is going to the convention in a party that says let's protect the incumbent. That's a crazy line to say. I was looking on social media for something different, and there was a article from the Billings Gazette that popped up talking about our mess of no incumbents going to the convention because that's a very big deal.
Well, and so I think there needs to be some understanding of why that might have happened.
I think so too.
And There might be, I'm going to say, some second grade type tactics on both sides on this deal.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be in trouble with all my real
Yeah,
conservative friends out there.
Yep.
And I'm going to be in trouble with the establishment again.
Yep.
But that's all right because, there's historically been a lot of pomp and circumstance around conventions or around party politics. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if you get a leadership change that, doesn't, subscribe to the pomp and circumstance,
right?
Yep. The prom effect,
yep.
I call it, let's go waste a lot of time on all the proper looking things and, that mean nothing.
Right.
But then if you have someone that strays from that and doesn't roll out the red carpet, so to speak, doesn't, bend over backwards for the entitled politician, mm-hmm. And make that such a formal thing to, invite or whatever you want to say to their convention. If you're a Republican, you're invited to the convention.
Right.
I mean, come on, give me a break.
Absolutely.
So there might be some friction there that's not being really well put out there.
Right.
That maybe the pomp and circumstance wasn't followed by the current party leadership, and therefore there's a tantrum on the other side being thrown by the establishment incumbent.
Yep.
And I'm like, get over it because you're not doing anyone any good from either side on that deal.
Right.
Someone
Absolutely.
has to be the adult in the room. And I'm not a pomp and circumstance guy.
Right. Yeah.
But there's just times that you go, okay, that's just the way life is. Mm-hmm. Yep. Does it hurt you? Does pomp and circumstance really hurt you? Yeah. No, it's a waste.
Yep.
But it doesn't hurt you.
Right. Yeah. No, I can hear that. Do you obviously the convention is normally held the first week of April. Normally, now this is a weird year because Easter is the first week of April, so it could not be. Well, it could have been, but that would have been a dire mistake.
They wouldn't have showed up for that reason.
Yeah,
they would have laid on the floor, kicked their feet, and said, "Oh, you're having it on Easter. We can't come."
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. So my question that I'm leading to though is the governor had a wedding. Obviously, weddings typically don't get planned a couple months ago. Typically, it's further out. Do you think when he saw this wedding date, do you think that he's like, oh, that should be safe from the convention? Or do you think it was more like, I don't really care, we're going to the wedding?
Well,
or do you even follow the line of thinking that it was something that was several months ago?
So we probably won't know.
Yeah, exactly. We won't know the answer to this question ever.
To that question. But let's ponder on that from a couple different angles.
Yeah.
The governor has a seat at the table, a representative at the table at the state committee meetings.
Okay.
If they didn't know what dates were being talked about, that's on them.
Right. Yeah.
And now because I don't know all the workings on this, but I'm just let's just go down a couple different paths here. Yep. Well, it was decided at the meeting that our representative wasn't there. Again, on you.
Right. Yep. Should have been there.
Not me.
Yep.
I'm not saying that happened, but I'm saying I'm just trying to cover every excuse that could come out here, right?
Exactly.
And on the flip side, if your person sat there and didn't say, the governor has a serious conflict.
Right.
That weekend. Again, on you.
Yes. Yeah. They had an opportunity.
Right. And so, and here's the thing. Here's what I always, I spent 10 years as president of Farm Bureau.
Yes.
And I told them, my board members that were there, that were great board members, I said, you can miss a board meeting for a funeral, your own. I mean, it was kind of in jest, but that's how serious it is that you show up.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was just a private organization. Right. That I tried to hold to that standard. Right. You're the governor of the state.
Exactly.
You have 800,000 roughly people that you are the ultimate responsible party for politically.
Right. Yep.
And policy-wise. this better be a dang important wedding in my mind.
Right.
Like, is it your brother?
Right.
Is it your sister? Is it your, that you can't miss part of the wedding to show up for part of the convention? Mm-hmm. Whether it's Friday night, whether it's sometime on Saturday, or whether it's Sunday morning.
Right, yeah, there's 3 days here.
There's 3 days. And you seem to be able to get, and I'm not just saying this governor, but every other governor, you can fly to D.C. on a whim and make an invite to the White House.
Yeah.
And then fly back for an important meeting the same day.
Right.
So this isn't a priority, is what I'm saying here.
I hear you. That's really great perspective on that, to really put it in the wider view of things, that the way that they're not wanting to. Switching gears, we're going to keep talking about convention, but there's other news that goes around.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, there's kind of a big announcement that's going to be happening. Well, I don't know how big it is, but it's a cool announcement. North Dakota State Fair Parade is announcing the theme of it. And so one guess at what the theme is. Probably a flag, probably something about...
It's got to be related to 250 years of the United States in some way. If
you
it's
probably
not,
already know.
I do not know. I do know the people that do know. So if I'd have been here a couple minutes earlier after you mentioned that to me when I walked in, I would have messaged someone to see, so I could have done a teaser at least.
Right.
I wouldn't have revealed what it was. But if it isn't related to that, they probably failed.
Yeah, for sure.
And so now I'm in trouble with a good friend. But I mean, I'm guessing that it's going to be centered around that and tied in somehow, or at least a reference.
It's good.
Which is fine, which it probably should be, right?
A lot of that going on this year.
The reason we can have a free run parade that's not organized by the dictator is because we're a free country.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's the largest parade in North Dakota.
Yeah.
It is the most well-known parade in North Dakota. Connected to our state fair,
Right.
They got a relationship. They're not run by the same groups, right? But they got a relationship.
You'll see the governor at that parade most likely. Maybe not this year because it's not election year.
He's not up for election this year, so he might not be walking it this year.
He wouldn't be walking this year, but you'll see some of the state incumbents at that parade.
Oh, you'll see the statewide incumbents walking there.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, they won't miss it. They'll have their crew with their T-shirts on, glad handing everybody. Kissing babies and slapping mamas or whatever, or kissing mamas and slapping babies, whatever they're gonna do. But
I suppose
So they're gonna be in that pomp and circumstance there again.
Yep.
It's the pomp and circumstance, which good. I'm glad that they support the state fair parade. No,
that part is a good thing, right?
But I mean, it's really like, do they ever support these things on the off year?
No, they don't.
No, they don't. And that bugs me about politicians.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's good enough for you to pay attention to when you're asking for people to vote, why isn't it good enough to pay attention to on the off year to thank the people for their votes? Absolutely.
Well, it's the biggest thing that I've heard from constituents is that they get frustrated when politicians go to Bismarck because suddenly they don't hear from them anymore. And there's been a wide array of complaints about that with Julie Fedorchak, is that she went to Washington, D.C., and now you get the virtual town halls every once in a while, and it's very hard to make...
With the canned questions.
Right, with canned questions, it's very hard to make contact with her. So it's something very legit that probably should be... We're such a small state. We have such an opportunity to continue to have that, just that close-knit environment. It'd be a terrible thing if we somehow threw that away.
Oh, absolutely. And then they say, well, these things have gotten out of hand across the nation, and they've gotten... and I'm going, okay, let's talk about that a little bit here.
Right.
You don't think things were tense and out of hand at the founding of our country?
Right.
And we still had those that were brave enough to stand in the town square.
Yep.
To gather the militia to take on the king.
Yep.
Knowing that they could have been shot right there.
Right.
Or they could have been attacked, or they could have been whatever. And so now we have the Sally sensation politicians that are afraid to face their constituents.
Right.
They think they need to be risk-free in their position. Well, there's nothing risk-free. Driving down the highway is not risk-free.
It's not. Not with me driving.
And do we need the presence of maybe someone that can maintain order at them. I don't dispute that.
Right.
Okay? Because we have that knowledge nowadays and know how to do that.
Yep.
You know, back in 1700s, you just showed up and you gathered a crowd where you could.
Yeah.
And you got the job done, right? You didn't understand providing protection for the guy that's trying to make a movement.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, even Abraham Lincoln, he had his security detail, and he's hanging out.
Didn't work for him.
Didn't work for him at all. The guy got bored and went across the street, is what legend has it, and hung out, got something to drink. So it definitely a different environment that we live in now with that would never happen on.
And people say, well, these are such different times and so tumultuous type of times. No.
Right. Yeah.
No, we went through the founding of our country. It was probably the most tumultuous time in this country's history.
Right. And then the right close to it is the Civil War.
Was the Civil War.
Yeah.
Yep. And we haven't had anything since, which is odd.
Yeah.
We really haven't had anything since. And because we're kind of beyond the years of where that checks and balance thing
makes sense. Yeah.
happens, you know. And part of it is because we've become better at providing some security, some protection, some, things like that. Have we went overboard in cases? Yeah, we can make that argument too.
Right, yeah. Do you think we're coming up on something? You said we're past due for something major. Do you think we are coming up on something in the next? I don't know how many years, but
I tell you what, there's. I think the burning down of cities that happened 5-6 years ago. I mean, Minneapolis. I mean, not the same place as it was. I think all those things are the precursors leading up to.
Yeah.
If we don't get a handle on things, that things can really blow up, because those are pretty big deals.
Yeah.
They weren't big deals to anyone living in Minot.
Nope.
Heck, if you didn't watch the news, you never knew there was an issue going on.
Right. Never smelled the smoke.
Right. But where those were happening, those were dynamic changes in those communities. And it's, when it comes to your town, then people will start paying attention.
For sure.
And we're kind of insulated in North Dakota. We're not immune to these things.
No, we're not.
We're insulated. People already forgot DAPL in 2016.
Yeah. That's crazy, actually.
It's only 10 years ago, and people have already forgot it.
Yep, they've moved on. Yeah, and even with it going on, I don't know that. I know a lot of people were aware of it, but I don't know if the whole state was aware of it. I don't know how much of the state was actually aware of it. You had the people that were in the in crowd that knew. Okay. I had an interview with chair of the Republican Party, Matthew Simon, and basically had a question that was, what do we have to do to unite the party? Where do we get back on? And the answer was, it was a good answer, but I'm interested to hear your perspective on it. It was, we cannot unite around personalities. We have to unite around principles. And so, solid answer. Question I have for it, though, is how does the party unite around principles and not personalities? Because so often, the thing that pulls people in is a Governor Armstrong who just loves North Dakota and is able to pull people in. It's like, yes, we can unite around this guy. Or it's not oftentimes the principles, though we're seeing that come up. That's the grassroots side where it's saying, no, I care about principles more than what your name is. So how does that happen where it actually takes hold of the core of the party?
It's a great goal. Very noble one.
Yeah.
You need a personality that can carry that.
Right. You have to have basically a personality that's bought into that vision, that people can unite around that personality with it.
And that's the thing that's the hardest, is because it's personalities that have made these swings in parties.
Right.
And, I just had this conversation on the phone as I was driving up here. You have the Ed Schaefer. First off, North Dakota is a populist state. Yes. We're not a conservative. We're not a liberal state. We're a populist state.
That's fair.
Anyone that doesn't agree to that, look at history. Mm-hmm. I'm only going to go back to the Schaefer years. Okay. That was a populist movement.
Okay.
Because populism is swinging against the quote unquote establishment. Is essentially what populism is. Well, the establishment at that time was the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
You had Sinner as the governor. Democrats controlled everything pretty much.
Yep.
Democrats come in and, basically, everything.
Right.
Then all of a sudden we elect Ed Schaefer. And everyone's going, things are being changed. Budgets are being straightened out. Spending's coming back into line.
Mm-hmm.
And but he was a big personality.
Yeah.
Okay? So this populist faction threw behind him because changes were being made, but there was a personality there. His dad was Mr. Bubble. I mean, Mr. Medora,
Right, yep.
So the big personality was there. Well, what brought that is it brought the faction of the Democrats going, we need to figure out how to have an R now to win.
Right, yeah.
Because we see that populism shifting to the R.
Yeah.
Now, Ed brought it with the conservative twist, right?
Yep.
It wasn't too many years later, it went the other way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And John Hoeven brought it with the more moderate twist.
Right.
Okay? And so we had a big inflow of the populist faction. You need an R to get elected, which brought a lot of moderates and liberals to the party. Now we're seeing that go the other way again, where the populist movement against the establishment, which is the more moderate, big spending, crony capitalists, things like that.
Right.
But there isn't the personality there.
Right.
Great goal. We should be able to base all this stuff off principles.
Yes.
I love that.
Right.
I think it's a great statement. I think it's the grand goal.
Yes.
I don't know if it's achievable without that personality.
Right, yeah. No, you make a good point. And it's difficult what I've seen, and I'm newer into all this. I don't have the vast experience. When I moved here, it was told to us that we'll vote, I believe it was told to us we'll vote red for governor, we'll vote red, more of the state stuff, but federal stuff we'll vote blue. That's how the state swung at that point. It's difficult to find big personalities to carry principles because a lot of the in my opinion, when you find someone that's very principled, they're not for the pomp and circumstance. They're not for those things, and so then they lack that outgoing personality. They may have it in their circles, but they're not interested on the big stages.
It's not part of their strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that it's still politics. It still has to be a part of your strategy.
Right. Yeah.
You can't ignore it.
Right.
Because why do flyers with headlines on about what someone didn't do, no matter whether it's true or not, why are they effective?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Why are ads effective that way? Why is walking in a parade effective?
Right.
Having everyone look uniform with a message on their shirt of a person's name.
Right.
It's pomp and circumstance.
Yep. It's all part
as much as I don't like it, it's still got to be part of the equation.
For sure. Interesting. Do you think any of the incumbents get de-seated in the primary?
Not statewide.
Yeah.
I don't. And now I should say, you have a PSC race that you have an incumbent but has never won an election there.
Right. So that's a unicorn.
That could be a unicorn there. The PSC thing is, that one's gotten a lot of attention from all sides.
Okay.
You got the carbon capture stuff.
Right.
You have these data center things now. You have wind farms. You have solar. That's getting the attention of a lot of people.
Right.
That race could be the one. Now, however, who's going to be the best at the pomp and circumstance?
Right, yeah.
Because there's no doubt in my mind that although I think a governor should keep their nose out of primary politics, is going to have his nose in that PSC race.
Yeah. I could see that for sure. Blas has any chance against Fedorchak, you think?
I don't think he does.
Yeah. That's a tough one to overcome right there.
Because she's got the Hoeven machine behind her.
Right.
So she's got the natural popularity, whether people want to admit it or not.
Right.
Right. Julie's very good about giving an answer without giving an answer.
Yeah, yeah.
She learned well from Hoeven.
Yeah.
And so it gets back to, we still only have about 15 to 20% of the electorate that's truly informed
Yeah.
on issues.
Fair. Yep.
80% of your electorate is name recognition, what they see in a headline once or twice. And that's part of the problem, getting back to uniting on principles. Mm-hmm. Because there's a big portion of the electorate that it's name or one headline that makes their decision.
It's a sad deal. We're trying to combat that, at least in the Minot area. All right, so probably no chance of that. It'll be an interesting race. Obviously, if you step down into the statewide races, though, at what point do you see the fractions in the Republican Party finally flowing into the district races throughout North Dakota and having an effect on some of those races where maybe they start swinging? And I know that we've mentioned this before, but it's a question that we've talked for several months about, and even longer than that. Like, there's coming a day when just because you're a R does not mean you're going to win anymore.
No, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Statewide votes still controlled by the Republicans, in my mind.
For sure.
District elections, I think the Democrats pick up some seats this year.
Wow. We're there.
I think we're at the turning point.
So does that become something where people start like realizing, okay, we've got to fix this, or does this mean that it's going to now be a pawn that's going to be used?
I think we need to bleed off a little bit out of the Republican Party.
Yeah. I hear you there.
An inept oppositional party is part of the reason we have the fight in the Republican Party right now.
For sure, yes.
Because there is no viable oppositional party out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said 10 years ago, we could get 10 people together and go in and take over the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Well, now it takes 25.
Right. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
really.
Exactly. Yep.
You know,
right.
But they've made that movement, and whether they're doing it with what people perceive as lying to people, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Again, it's pomp and circumstance. They're getting better again at the pomp and circumstance.
Yes.
To get the attention, and there's been mistakes made by Republican control out there that gives them some ammunition.
For sure.
You know, and because again, I'll go back to what I said. We're not a conservative state. We're not a liberal state. We're a populist state.
Right.
So who plays the game the best who's gonna win. And there's some districts, I believe. Maybe I'll have to come back on here and say I was wrong, Jonathan. But I believe Democrats will pick up some wins this year.
Well, maybe not the Republicans, but the Republicans are trying to shoot themselves in the foot on this issue. But you have the bigger issue of term limits that has come in, and you have a party divided substantially. This isn't just infighting anymore. This is now a fractured party.
Yep.
Capitalized or capstone by the fact that there's no state incumbents coming to the convention. It's definitely fractured.
Yep.
And so then on top of that, you have the people of North Dakota who they voted to implement term limits, and there's nothing wrong with that. That was a decision they made. They understood what it meant on the ballot, and they voted for it. So great, that's in place. Two big deals right there, because it seems like, and I've been saying this, and you've probably been saying it longer than I have, but I've been saying this for a bit, like term limits is probably one of the things that's going to hurt the Republicans the most. And people are like, no, there'll be people that step up. I don't see it. I see eventually you're just going to run out of people that are willing to step out. We're in a city council race in our local town, right? And we now have a full race. There's 6 candidates, but 3 of the candidates didn't jump in until the last week or so, week to 2 weeks. It was hard to get candidates to go beyond just the necessary 3. And I think that I
think we need 10 or 12 there just to make it exciting.
You're not wrong though. But people are going and looking at it and saying, "Oh, I think I have a chance. I'll jump in. If I don't have a clear chance to win, I'm not even going to try. If there's 10 people, I'm not even going to try, because how do I even get a vote?" So the only reason why some of them jumped in is because they saw the race. Well,
it's a true coin flip for them right now.
Exactly, it is. So I just see that people aren't that interested. And when you talk about going to Bismarck, you're looking at 4-month commitment. You're looking at a huge, way bigger commitment than a city council commitment. So I don't know. I think that's going to be really negative for the Republican Party specifically by the end of this decade.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And have been very vocal. I was against term limits.
Right.
And because of all those things and more, I thought it was going to come back to bite us. It's going to bite us in rural representation in North Dakota, I believe.
Right. Makes sense.
And I believe that term limits were set up in our country and our state through voting. And let's do a better job of motivating people to make an educational vote.
Right.
Instead of a, emotional vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, pomp and circumstance still plays there. So you want to make an educated vote, you better make that education of those principles attractive.
Yeah.
And then comes in this whole thing about, now, I said I was against term limits.
Right.
As much as I was against term limits, people would assume that I would be in favor of what the legislature did to undo the term limits. And that's quite the opposite, in fact. Because I'm a big believer in sometimes you have to let the voters live with what they voted for.
Right.
If it works out, it works out. It doesn't work out, they got to live with that too.
Yep.
Okay? So I'm against what the legislature did and is trying to do. Now, it's in a court case, obviously. It's getting challenged that it can even be legal because what the voters did pass in that, which I say a lot of them didn't understand was in there when they did it.
This is probably true.
Is that there was a restriction that for it to be changed had to be another citizen-led initiative.
Right.
Which was pretty clever.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, it was pretty clever.
Yeah.
I knew it was in there, but I don't think a lot of people did. Now, would have it changed their vote? I don't know.
Yeah.
It won by almost 2/3.
Right, yeah.
Just short of 2/3. So I don't think it would have changed their vote enough that it wouldn't have passed.
Yep.
But there were a few people that probably didn't realize it was there.
Right.
But having said that, then here's the problem. We have legislators that will tell you you don't know what's good for you.
Yes.
And we can do it better than the voter. But guess what? They still need the voter to agree with them.
Right. Still got to walk that state for a parade.
And so I'm against it. I'm a no vote on that if it does end up on the ballot. And I'll promote it. Yeah. I'll make it known I'm a no vote.
Right.
Even though I was against the term limits to begin with.
Right. Well, it feels like it reinforces the reason why some people voted for term limits.
Right. Because of these actions.
Yeah, because of these specific actions. Like,
yes.
This is why I voted no the first time, or voted yes the first time, because you guys are too comfortable there and you think you control it and you're not listening. And that's a huge deal to people that are constituents. They want to be heard.
Absolutely. And it's all about them.
Yeah.
Again, this is proving it's all about them.
Right.
You hurt my feelings. You hurt me. You're taking my job away.
Yep.
It's not about you. It's about making decisions for the state. But what they did shows that it's more about them,
Right.
Because some of the arguments that some of them made were pretty ridiculous. But,
yeah, for sure. For sure. One thing that's happened at the state convention this year is, from my understanding, they're trying to make it more collaborative. In the conversation with Chairman Simon, he said that there's going to be panel discussions. I think you alluded to something like that too. One of the speakers, though, has gotten a lot of attention, and I'm just interested on I asked Chairman Simon about it. I'm interested in your perspective on it. Royce White, he's gotten a lot of attention for some of the things that he says, uses every once in a while, maybe goes too far with his words for some people. What's your perspective on that? How do you, obviously you use words every day, so you know how to use your words maybe pointedly, but correctly as well.
Well, and so again, you push the line, right?
Yeah.
And to get notice in politics nowadays, especially when you're taking on the machine,
right,
so to speak, you got to push that limit.
Mm-hmm.
What I find really interesting, some of the people that have been complaining or questioning it, because it happened at our own District 4 meeting. When I went to our District 4 meeting,
okay,
someone questioned this choice.
Yeah.
That, by the way, wears a Trump MAGA hat. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone has crossed the line on saying things,
yeah,
it's Trump.
Right, yeah.
And so you're worried about what this guy's saying?
Yeah.
In a Senate race?
Right.
Really?
Right.
There's something doesn't, the math don't math there.
Right, yeah.
And so I think that's a little disingenuous. He's got some things that he's done in his past that people are questioning, using campaign funds for adult entertainment things or whatever was
not wise choices, probably.
Not wise choices. But it comes back to, again, I throw this back. What kind of scoundrels were our founding fathers, some of them?
Yeah, right, yeah.
What kind of histories and past did they have?
Yeah.
What kind of, do you have to condone it? No. But if you have if someone has a belief system in the principles of our founding of our country to keep our country alive and going, this 250-year experiment is beyond any other type of country that's tried similar setup.
Yep.
Yeah,
it is.
And so to keep that going so we don't slip into some other form of government, don't let perfection get in the way of progress.
Right.
And that's, and we all do it. Let's be honest. It's human nature.
Yeah.
I'm voting for that one because of the way they did that, or I'm voting for because they did that at one time. It's human nature.
Right.
So it's an easy target.
Yep.
If you believe in, reformation of people, if you believe in, that people can change and people can, then you have to maybe dig into that side of it. Sad thing is that doesn't get dug into in politics.
Right, yeah. Well, that's sad. The other part that's sad, I think, is that it's only wrong if you get caught. That's the other sad part about politics.
If you get caught, if someone files charges on you, if someone,
And I mean that I think it's wrong all the time. So someone don't take my words out of context. What I'm meaning specifically, though, is because it's more rampant than we even know of.
Right.
And so that's the unfair part about it. So, but best thing is to stay out of it, then you're safe, right? But
and humans are going to make mistakes.
They are.
And so if you're looking for the perfect one to run,
good luck.
Stay home because you're not going to have one to vote for.
Absolutely. Interesting stuff for sure. We're going to go to a quick 60-second break, and then after that, we'll finish up with some more stuff from around North Dakota.
In the demanding world of oil and gas, precision, safety, and efficiency are non-negotiable. Unmanned operator drone services revolutionizes how you monitor, inspect, and manage your operations. With cutting-edge technology and expert operators, we deliver real-time data, detailed reports, and actionable insights for our valuable clients. Why risk the safety of your team or waste precious time? Our drones access even the most challenging areas with ease, reducing downtime and enhancing safety across your sites. We take the guesswork out of your projects by offering LiDAR, mapping, and inspection services so that your projects stay safe, on budget, and on time. Unmanned operator drone services, where technology meets safety, precision, and efficiency. Contact us today to elevate your operations. Yes, pun intended.
We are back. Shout out to the unmanned operator. They do some good work there. All right, continuing the conversation of politics in North Dakota. When are you going to run for governor?
That would be never.
Yeah, you retired from politics?
I wouldn't say I retired. Did I ever have governor on my radar very seriously? Probably not.
Yeah.
There were some other things I considered. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's there anymore. I won't rule out something district-wise, possibly.
You still have all 16 years of eligibility?
Yeah, I still have all my eligibility yet. So yeah, I can hop.
Yeah, that's great.
I can take myself into old age, in the legislature if I wanted to. But of course, my kids will say you're already old, Dad. But anyway, it's I don't know it. I've as much as I believe we need people that have good, solid conservative beliefs running. And because I get this thrown at me, it's like, well, then why don't you run?
Right.
I also have the opportunity to influence public opinion right now.
Yep.
That I'm comfortable where I'm at there.
Right. Yep.
Now, let's be honest. I spent 10 years president of North Dakota Farm Bureau.
That's a lot.
That's a long tenure.
Right.
And it took a lot of time away, And so I'm just like, I just need some time. Honestly, the PSC thing piqued my curiosity of that. There was just about a trigger pulled there.
Wow.
And
probably been good.
And so, but I need some time to focus on our own stuff. Yeah. I mean, because we're talking 28,000 member families in Farm Bureau.
Right.
When you multiply that by who's in the family, 50, 60, 70,000 members.
Right.
Well, 10% of the state of North Dakota.
Right.
Basically, I was responsible for that organization in that leadership role.
Yep.
And luckily, we had great staff around us. Right. I mean, so I didn't have to do the day-to-day stuff.
Right.
But every day I had to do stuff.
Right.
And 60 days a year. So my son-in-law asked me, how many days, last summer when I finally decided I wasn't going to roll, how many days did this take you away? So, I've never really figured it out because I probably would have quit sooner. But 60 days a year out of state.
Wow.
Traveling or out of state. That's not the in-state.
Yeah.
Commitments. Yeah. Commitments. So I needed a break to get away.
Right.
I have, I can influence other ways, support. Lead by example. I get that.
Right.
But there's times that you need voices in certain areas too.
Right. Yeah.
And let's be honest, the moderates of the world are very good at manipulating the voice time.
Right. Yep, they are. Yeah. No, we do need good people to run, but you mentioned a lot of great points of why it can be difficult, but also in your situation, understanding that you come from just getting out 10 years. And one of the in the industry of North Dakota, we try to make it oil, we try to make it these data centers and everything, but farming is the industry of North Dakota.
It's what keeps every small town thriving.
Right.
And people can say, well, small towns aren't thriving. No, they're not, but they're a shift. I mean, our policies, our government policies forced some of the shifting away from small towns to bigger towns.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, we should stack people like rats on top of each other.
This is it. Yeah. So that's the truth right there. Not necessarily a topic that I had on the topic list, but I was talking with somebody that is in the know of farming things like that a little bit. And, 10 years from now, we're going to still have small towns in North Dakota. And it's a lot more of them are going to be gone for sure, And the problem is like you just said, there's such a push of trying to get people to the main hubs. We'll call them big cities in North Dakota. We know they're small, but trying to get people to those hubs that it really hurts. It really hurts.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
and that's where quote unquote manufacturing industry wants to go because they need a certain number of employees.
Exactly.
Well, there's only so many people, so you got to compete where there are people.
Right.
For those employees. Things that can be done in agriculture is what's going to keep small towns viable.
Right.
Animal agriculture in North Dakota is relatively untapped. The growth in that could be the viability standard, in my mind, for small towns.
Yeah.
Because let's say you have, a dairy farm move in, or you have a poultry farm move in, or a hog farm move in, or a feedlot. Those people are going to live close to that in that rural area.
Makes sense.
And so whether you need 10 people, 15 people, 25 people, or 50 people, you move that. I'll just take Douglas. You move one of them next to Douglas, North Dakota. Population of somewhere between 70 and 100, depends on when you're counting and who's counting.
Right, yeah.
And whether the dog or cat get counted. Yeah. But, you move in a place that requires 15 to 20 people to be employed. Well, that keeps that little town at that 80 to 100 people, or maybe grows the population.
Right.
Right? And so will we ever have them small communities like Douglas, Antler, you name the real small communities, will they ever have a viable Main Street again? I'm not saying that.
Right.
Because, delivery and ordering online has changed that game even for big cities.
Yeah, it has.
And so I'm not naive to that, but keeping small communities going, I think animal agriculture can be part of the answer to that.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's not as tapped at all in North Dakota. Yeah, I was really stuck out to me the most when I was in Karlsruhe. It had to be a year and a half ago. It's just like you see the school and you see like, man,
Yeah.
This was a vibrant community at one point. There was a lot going on here now. And sadly, some people would disagree with this one. It's a little closer to home. Ryder's a little bit that way, although they still have stuff going on and whatever, but you can start feeling that a little bit there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Hopefully there's some of that industry that comes and supports the smaller communities in industry. Have you heard much about North American Iron?
I haven't heard a lot about it.
Gotcha.
A lot of what I've heard is what you've had on here.
Right. Jim Mugals.
I had a very brief conversation with someone about it. I don't know that they're ready to put a lot out there yet.
Right.
Because there's a lot of moving parts that have to happen for that yet.
Yep. They're finishing up land stuff still.
Right.
But I guess my question with it, since we're talking about industry, small towns, how it all affects, 650 jobs, and these are not temporary jobs. These will be long-term jobs. What kind of effect do you see that having on small towns?
I think that's another thing that'll create. People move in North Dakota now, even from city to city. They will take an intermediary city over moving to the next big city for their employment.
Okay.
You see that, Bismarck to Minot.
Yep.
Okay. There's a lot of people that from Minot and Bismarck work at the mines, whether it's Falkirk or across the river over in Beulah, right?
Right.
And there's people that have made their decisions that have built more out into that Wilton country, getting further away from the bigger city, but still close enough that they're comfortable with their entertainments that they have, whatever. People make a decision, leave me alone. I want to be out, But so you see that. You see I think you'll see people for this North American Iron, obviously Surrey, not far away.
Right.
Could impact Granville, I believe.
Right.
Could impact Sawyer, could impact Belva, could impact Max, Des Lacs, Berthold.
Basically a whole 20, 30-mile radius around Minot.
Even up to probably 50 miles.
Gotcha.
Because if they're the good paying jobs that they
claim.
should be and claim to be, people drive 50, 60 miles for them.
Yeah. Well, we see it in the oil.
Absolutely.
People drive hour to 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hour drive to work is just crazy. Like, you don't have to do that.
Well, there's people live in Minot, work in Beulah.
Yeah, that's an insane drive.
You get over 3 hours of your day shot on the road.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So people will drive.
Yeah.
And I've listened to some of the conversations on here about, well, Minot's got to do something for housing. Minot's got to do this. I'm sitting there saying, these small communities, you guys start doing something for housing.
Yeah,
here's your opportunity.
Right.
Where's the little local contractor in them small towns going, hey, let's build a duplex. Let's build a couple of single family homes out here and have them available. There's an opportunity there.
It's true. Yeah. Well,
so I don't know. I mean, and to me, too many of them are asking, well, what can the government do for you?
Yeah, you're right. Well, on the subject of economic development, I'm basically at the point of, I'm not quite there. I'm like probably, I don't want to go percentage, 75% of the way of saying economic development. Maybe you have your chamber, you have those things. I'm not really talking about those things. I'm talking about the concept of giving money to XYZ company so that way they come and do this.
The MADCs and things like that.
Yeah. I think we should spend more money on investment in infrastructure, not just changing out old pipe or whatever, but in targeted infrastructure that would make a place more interesting to a developer to come in than going and saying, hey, developer, here's a TIF that you get. And we don't use a lot of TIFs in Minot, so that'll make people upset if we go down TIFs. But rather than giving some type of incentive to a developer or incentive to a Walmart or whatever the company is to come in, right?
Let's think of a development in line at the M building. How'd that work out?
Exactly, it didn't. And that company, that's a whole sad story in itself.
It is, but it's not an anomaly.
It's not
of what happens with economic development.
Right. What almost, and this is sad, and the people that are huge proponents of economic development won't like this, but almost what's an anomaly is the North American Iron. If it finishes up and it comes in and it gets established, because the economic development side is saying we had a lot to do with that. There was other people that were vying for that. They were actually going to go to a different spot, and we were able to get them to come to Minot. that it doesn't happen often that way. And it's the name of the game. If we looked at the law sheet, there'd be a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it's part of it. Last topic is this. We got 5-10 minutes left. Last topic is the one that everyone loves to talk about. So we'll spend we had our moments of good, fun conversation. We'll go back to the doom and gloom future that North Dakota has, and that's property taxes. Okay? So we've seen this $1,600 tax credit. I think the last time we talked, Measure 4 was a concept that was being discussed happily by many people, and other people were not happy about it at all. This $1,600 tax credit, tax reform, property tax reform, it's reformed. It's good to go now. 3% caps. It's a solid solution. Are we happy with this? Or where do we go from here? Where do you stand on this spectrum or the scale of this?
So, obviously, I was a proponent of Measure 4.
Yeah.
And I predicted there'd be people within 2 years that would have buyer's remorse for not voting for it. I have had probably several dozen people just in the last 2 weeks go, I made the wrong vote.
Yeah.
And because they don't see any willing restraint from the big spenders, both local and at the state.
Right.
Because the first thing that our legislators and our, governors and all that, they always, if we're having a downturn or there's another policy proposed that's going to take money, the first thing they say, well, if we do that or that happens, you're going to lose your tax relief, your property tax relief.
Yep. It's now a pawn.
Let's see. How many hundreds of millions of dollars do we have other places that we're handing out in the name of economic development and picking winners and losers that we could end the crony capitalism? But no, the first thing they go for is what hurts the people.
Right.
So it's a forced changing of the mind.
Yes.
Is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's a forced shifting. It's indoctrination.
Yeah.
Okay? And they force the thinking to go that way.
Right.
And there isn't a politician in Bismarck that's not done this.
Yeah.
Okay? Whether they're on the ultra-conservative side or on the liberal side. Mm-hmm. They'll all use that as their pawn.
Right.
Instead of addressing the real issues. Mm-hmm. Okay? Did I think the 3% cap, I wasn't a big fan of the legislation because I didn't think it did enough reforms, right? Well, some of the biggest reforms that have to happen is state needs to truly get out of property tax like they claim they're not.
Yeah.
But they truly are.
Right.
Because they got regulations on for townships.
Okay.
If you want to get grant funding in that, a lot of that's tied to whether you've got your mills maxed out or not.
Okay, I see.
How is that leaving it up to the locals? Well, they can decide if they want to apply for the grant, then they got to do. No. Again, you're forcing them.
Right, yeah.
To be able to take care of their infrastructure needs, you're forcing them to have to make that decision. Mm-hmm. You're not giving them a choice. I mean, a choice would be, well, if you need the money, we've got it here. You can apply for it. But here's how it has to be spent. And the guidelines that it has to be spent, and them can be pretty stiff if you want.
Right.
Then it's their choice if they want to follow those guidelines. However, it's connected to whether you raise the property taxes on your people in your township is what it's connected to. Mm-hmm. But yet, legislature's famous word is property taxes are a local issue. We don't have anything to do with that.
Right. Yeah.
Really?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, weed boards. If you want weed board participation from the egg department, you have to have certain mills.
Okay, I see.
You have to. I mean,
yeah,
all of this stuff.
That's strange.
All of this stuff that like that out there, and then there's other policies that inflict on there. So for legislators, it's disingenuous. They're either not smart enough to know they are involved in it that deep, or they're truly disingenuous and misleading their people.
Right. Yeah.
By saying that, property taxes are a local issue. The state doesn't have anything to do with that.
Right.
It's one of the two.
Yep. So get rid of the hooks that they have on that, and then keep upping up the amount that they're doing, the path they are, maybe eventually get it to where 100% of residential property taxes are paid for, or should we see just complete reform? And
I think you need to see reform. I think everyone needs to be. I think we got to get rid of these exemptions out there.
Yes. Well, see, how about this? Maybe you've heard this idea. Maybe you came up with this idea. So you have, if you're a nonprofit, you can only get an exemption. Churches have exemptions, and there's probably more. Not talking about the special stuff that the actual municipalities give out. So have the state just fund all that. If the state's going to get into property taxes and we want to keep these exemptions, then have the state, the big one for us is Trinity Hospital. They don't pay any. Well, if they came on the tax rolls, it'd be a huge deal to everybody. Have the state fund all the exemptions. And so the state gives out the exemption and then they give it to the municipality. So that way it helps everybody win in that case. I don't know. What's your thoughts on something like that?
Or get rid of the ability for these things to happen.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then you can truly sit there and say, property taxes are a local issue. You've got 5 people sitting on your city council. You can go look in the eye and tell them they are overspending and they need to get it in line.
Right.
Then that is truly where the dogfight has to happen.
Yep.
But until you get all these things out, the allowances for TIF districts, the allowances for Renaissance zones, the allowances for all that, the fact, and this got changed some, but the fact that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the city could give away other taxing entities property tax.
Yeah.
They could give an exemption that exempted all property tax.
Gotcha. I see.
Yep. Give the school tax away, give the fire tax away, give the library tax away, give the county tax away, by doing an exemption for a business coming to town.
That's difficult.
That is wrong.
Yep.
That is so wrong. Now that's changed some. They gotta, the schools get a chance to say, no, we're not participating in that. We're taking our part yet.
Right, yeah, which is good.
So that was a good change, but just get rid of the ability to give that property tax break away.
So does that kind of bleed out? This will get into your area a little bit. How do you balance that with the farm side? Because they get exemptions too. So how do you balance it there?
So there's personally, I don't know why farmers get a property tax exemption on their home.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Do I believe that the property tax system, if we're going to have one, remember, I want to get rid of it. I want everyone to not have that burden of not truly owning their property.
Right. Yep.
But if we're going to have a system in place, you're going to have different levels of taxation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Commercial property is a higher tax than residential property.
Okay.
Both commercial and residential have a different formula than ag land.
Right.
Okay. And then farmers have their home.
Mm-hmm.
That's exempt, unless you got outside income that creates, then you lose your exemption or whatever. But if you would balance those things out, everyone would pay way less.
I see. Yeah.
You take the forgiveness or the abatements, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years away. Right. You take the guaranteed ones, the hospitals, the whatever, churches. I think churches should pay property tax even.
Yeah.
And I just made all my minister friends unhappy. But I think that there's got to be one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
You either get rid of them because you truly never own your land. Right. You have to pay a rent check to the government every year.
Yep.
Right? And so get rid of them. If you're not going to do that, eliminate possibilities for exemptions and abatements.
Yeah.
And then it truly becomes, and then get rid of the state saying, well, you got to have 18 mills if you're going to qualify for this grant. Right. You got to have, you get rid of that. Truly get the state out of it. So then I can go look at the 5 city council members, or I can go look at the 5 commissioners on the county.
Right.
And go, this is 100% your problem.
Yep.
And we're all 100% your constituents.
Right.
So fix it.
Yep.
Right now, their hands are tied. Valuations, they can't not raise valuations if they don't want to. Right. Because they'll fall below that 90-some% requirement.
Yep. Right. And it makes people so upset, and they get mad at the city every time. It's like, it's really not our fault. We're just trying to follow the law of the state.
Yeah. And so, there again, states manipulating the valuation side. Now, they came in with a 3% cap.
Mm-hmm. Which doesn't help on the valuation side.
It doesn't help on the valuation side. Here's what that is going to do. You have these politicians threatening, well, you're going to lose your $1,600 credit. We're going to take all this away, yada, yada, yada. they're going to have to, if you take that credit away, you're going to have to take that 3% cap away.
Yeah.
And you take that 3% cap away, and these valuations are going up absolutely crazy in some areas, year after year after year. So the year that comes off, whoa.
Right.
Katie bar the door. There's some people aren't going to be able to afford to stay in their home.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Not good at all. I'll throw this one as a parting shot. District 3 got their candidates endorsed, and it was, some might say an upset. I don't know. Anytime an incumbent loses, it feels like an upset, but I know that there was some intrigue of whether or not they were going to run in the first place. Paulson endorsed for Senate, Hoverson endorsed for House, and then Crystal Hendrickson endorsed for House over Lori Van Winkle. Were you surprised by results?
I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
Lori, love her voting record.
Yeah.
Like Lori, I didn't understand the pomp and circumstance when to keep your mouth shut sometimes.
Yep.
And that's what got her, I think, because I think even some true supporters on her side were going, God, I love your voting record, but
yeah,
man, you can think some of that stuff, just don't say it.
Right, yeah.
And so I think a lot of them went, for the more fiscal accountability type one, Lori was more of the social accountability, which nothing wrong with that. I'm pro-life guy. But the more fiscal accountability is where Crystal, I think, is.
Okay.
And I know that because I sit on a board with her now.
Exactly.
In North Prairie Regional Water.
Yep.
And so I think that the people said, we still want that. And Lori was fiscally conservative too. I don't want to make it that she wasn't.
Right.
But she really focused on the other side of it.
Yes.
And I think the district was saying, we really have a spending issue in the state. We really have, that's where our focus has to be. Yes, we need to maintain our pro-life. We need that, which Crystal still will, So I think that decision, I think there was a little bit of, and let's be honest, I said it on my radio show, Lori, why did you go on vacation in the middle of the session?
Yeah. That didn't help.
That did not help at all.
Nope.
Because when you have guys like me going, really?
Yep.
You
right.
You knew when you ran.
Yeah.
And this wasn't even the first session after you ran. This was the second one. You know when this happens.
Right, yeah. There's enough here.
That's not an excuse. Your family vacation did not have to happen that time of the year.
Right, yep. It's fair. So, interesting stuff. Well, it's been a good conversation. I appreciate you coming on again.
It was fun.
So,
and we'll come back and see if my predictions are right after November general election.
As painful as they might be to some, but
good oppositional party will make us better.
Yeah, I know. I believe that. It'll make North Dakota better as a whole. Appreciate you coming on. To anybody watching, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll be back this coming Tuesday at 9 a.m. We are going to be at the state convention, so we will be pushing out updates all weekend, throwing out some video clips from what happens. We'll even get a picture of who's all there, since everyone's interested in crowd size in politics now. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Surprisingly enough.
Exactly it. So we'll be there keeping track of all that. Thank you for watching this episode, and have a great rest of your day.